Hello everybody, welcome back to Padshot Junction. Thanks very much, first of all, to everybody that's watched any of the previous videos. I'm really chuffed to say, I've had quite a few views. All this kind of social media, making video stuff is all brand new to me, so I'm kind of, learning it on the hoof as I go along. So thanks for sticking with me and watching me make a fist of things. The Class 37 was the last video. Very pleased with the success on that. The one I want to have a go at this week is the Hymek. Now, this is the one that when I opened my attic find suitcase of dreams of all my old trains was the first one I spotted straight away. Just kind of immediately popped out to me because my dad bought it for me as a surprise present when I was a young lad, and I thought, well, after all these years, I'd kind of forgotten about it, but as soon as I saw it, I thought, I know where this came from. Dad got it for me. I had a quick look online to try and work out the vintage of it and work out my vintage. I looked on the Hornby Railway Collector's Guide, which seems to be quite an interesting website, and it says Hymek Class 35 Type 3, number D7063, produced from 1968 to 1976 in this colour scheme. It was produced in other colour schemes as well, the green. Looking at the logo on the bottom of mine, the Hornby logo, where are we? I hope you can see that possibly on the camera, if I bring a bit of light over maybe. That kind of Hornby logo puts it as being possibly a 73 or 74, which is about right, and I think that's about the time that he would have bought it for me. So potentially 49 years old, something like that. So that's quite good. So I thought, right, let's see if we can get this one working. So I think what I'll do first of all is I'll put a little bit of test track up and see if it's got any life in it. Okay, got the test track set up, controllers here. Let's see if we get anything. Nothing yet. No. Hang on. Let's try and move it a bit, see if. No, nothing. I'll try the other direction. Nothing. Okay, well that's fair enough. I think it's been in that suitcase for, I don't know, how many years is that going to be? Maybe 40 odd years, so I think it's only fair. I think in view of that, we'll go for a strip down, have a look inside, good old clean up, and give it another try. See if we can coax it back into life. Right, here we go. Let's get the body off first. Had a look round it. Looks like there's two clips at this end holding it in. So if I can ping those out. Yep. And it unhooks the hooks through the front there, doesn't it? Look, the destination board hooks into the front of the body. The body I'll take that away separately and just give that a nice little gentle clean, I think. Maybe a tiny bit of soapy water, just be very gentle with it. Get all the dust off. That'll be good. And here we are. Okay, so it's got pickups from the back there and pickups on the front wheels as well. And oh, hello. Looks like there's been a running repair done at some point here. I don't know what happened there. Must have had a bit of damage maybe on the chassis. Looks like a piece of card has been glued in that. When I get that apart further, we'll have a look and see what that's all about. I don't remember that. Maybe it had an unfortunate accident. Yeah, that's the body. Right, anything else while I'm here? Yep, that looks okay. Oh, that's a bit loose. Yeah, that buffer is definitely loose. So we'll have a look at that separately as well. Right. First things first, I think, is to get this clip out to release the motor. Let's have a go at that. Make sure that doesn't ping across the room. And drop this motor out. Okay. Well, that's all pretty dirty, pretty dusty. The felt pads are bone dry. Everything looks bone dry. So I think the first thing to do is desolder. I'm going to have to desolder these wires, I think, so I can get in here. Oh, actually, maybe if I undo the big screw on the top, this whole assembly might come off. Here we go. Let's give it a go. Right. Okay. All right, and there's a wire spring clip there, which goes down to the brushes and holds the brushes on, and an insulator underneath it by the look of it. So I'll have to be careful with that. Right. Maybe I can ease the brushes out. Yep. Get this little wire clip out. Try and keep them in a logical layout across the top of the board here, so I know what order they go back in. And the green wire is on this side, so with the coupling going forwards, the green wire's on the left, I'll say. Okay, got to get those brushes out. There's one. I'll give them a good old clean up. And the other one doesn't particularly want to come out at the moment, but never mind, it will, I'm sure. If I get a pair of tweezers, maybe. There's my pound shop specials. They're hiding from me. Here they are. There we go. The pound shop special tweezers. Can't go wrong. Right, the other brush. Excellent. Now, do these brass contacts just lift up? Looks like they do. Yeah, okay. They do. So maybe I can clean them without having to desolder the wires. Yeah, okay, that's one. So we can get this other one off. Don't know if you can hear that or not, but there's actually just a train going past at the moment at the bottom of the garden. This is all a learning curve, because I don't think I hadn't taken one of these apart before. It's a different design of motor to the one that was in Nelly, and a different design of motor obviously to the one that was in the Class 37, so this is all brand new for me. There we go. That's out. A lot of dust and dirt in there, and we've got a screw and a nut, which I assume is holding the magnet in place. I'll pop that over there to one side at the moment. There's quite a bit of backwards and forwards play there. I don't know if that's normal or not. Anyway, we'll carry on. Got a couple of Phillips screws on the bottom of there, because I think this thing's got, has this got magnet adhesion? Possibly. I seem to remember reading. And actually there's something interesting I've just noticed. Look, after all these years, I don't know if you can see it or not, guys, there is, let me see if I can get this up to the camera, there's a track pin stuck to the back of that magnet. Look, how many years has that been there, I wonder? Oh well, that's my first track pin towards the for the new layout when if I ever get it set up. Classic. I don't think I'll be putting that back. Right, a couple of Phillips screws there. I wonder if I take them off, do the wheels come out? Looks like they've been out before. So take those out. Put them there. See what happens when I take this brass plate off. Okay, brass plate comes off. Okay, oh, it's a bit of oil. There is a bit of oil in there, look. Good grief, after all these years, that's amazing. And then the wheels, do the wheels lift out? They do. Wow. So that's the rear set, and that's the front set. And then these are the little adhesion magnets. And that one's got, yeah, there's stuff stuck to that, look. There's bits stuck to that. I'm going to have to give that a good clean. Again, that's the one at the other end. I'll put that way. Which just leaves the armature in there, which I'm guessing I'm going to have to remove this, which has got a little nut on the other end. Yep, there it goes. God, that's tiny. Screw comes out. Try and keep that in some kind of order on the bench. And then plastic cover. Ah, right, okay. Gosh, that magnet's just... Oh, I see, that was in there. It's stuck on the top of the magnet. Okay, I'll put that there. And I'll take this magnet out and make sure... Actually, turn it that way, because that's the front coupling. Keep everything in the direction of travel, I think, going that way. And then that magnet sits like that. Does this come out? Or does it have something else holding it in? Okay. Possibly some clips here. Smaller screwdriver, I think it's called for. Yeah, there's definitely a couple of metal clips there. Interesting. And the little felt pads behind them, and I guess that's a little bearing in there that the ends of the armature run in. But I'm not quite sure how you get these little metal clips off. Perhaps you ping them off from the side like that. Nope. Okay. I don't want to damage anything. So I think I might have to go away and have a look and see if I can work out how these little tiny metal clips come out, because I don't want to break anything because I haven't got any spares. So I'll be back with you in just a minute. Right, okay, had a look under the magnifier. I also switched and put a different pair of glasses on so I can see a bit better. Don't laugh. Looks like I can get a little screwdriver up underneath and lever the clips off. This one started to come off. Hope you can see that there. They're quite fiddly, so see if I can get the other side to come up. Oh, fluff everywhere, look. Still, it'd be good to give it a clean out. Yep, that one's off. Okay, that's that one. That's that end. Yep. Now I wonder if I can lift that out without having to remove the clip at the other end and just slide it in and out. Might be a bit easier, mightn't it? Oh, hang on. That's the little bearing with the felt pad. Hope I haven't bitten off more than I can chew here with this. Never mind. Onward and upward. Try and get the other clip off. Just talk amongst yourselves while this is going on. Okay, there's the other clip off. Tiny little clip goes on there. Okay. Will it come out now? Yes. Okay, so that one sits that side. That one sits that side. And a little bearing at the end, like that. And there's the armature. Right, and the bare chassis, which is dusty as anything, so that needs a good clean. And there's a quick you know, layout of all the parts. I've tried to keep them in order so that when I put it back together, hopefully, sorry about the camera rolling, hopefully they'll it'll be logical when I put it back together. I think the first thing I'll do is go off and clean this. I've got some where is it? I've got some of this stuff out of the shed. It's brake cleaner, general purpose cleaner. You can use it on cars. So I thought, right, that'll probably be good for giving that a good blast and a clean, along with an old toothbrush. I think first I'm going to go and do that now. I'm going to do it outside because it reeks to high heaven, that stuff. So I'll give that a clean first. Maybe give the wheels a spray as well. And the rest of it, I'll just give it a nice gentle clean. Polish up these contacts, these brass contacts, clean the brushes. We'll clean the commutator, give that a nice little polish up and clean the slots out. Reassemble in reverse order. I treated myself to a little eBay purchase, or was it Amazon, who knows. This oiling pen, which I've seen other people use, so I can oil the wheel spindles and the little felt pads, and maybe put some oil on that worm gear. I haven't got any grease at the moment, so I know people sometimes use a bit of grease on that, but I haven't got anything at the moment, so I'll have to go with what I've got. But if I can get it running, at least later on, I can always just add a little bit of grease to that afterwards, can't I? If anybody thinks you should put grease on that, maybe you could let me know. Or you can recommend a good grease maybe to use for that. So, I'm off now to give this a quick brush and a spray, so I don't fill the house out with fumes. And I'll be back to you in a little while. Okay, we're back. This has had a good clean. Use an old toothbrush and that brake cleaner stuff, and that seemed to get all the muck and grime out of it, so that's pretty good. I gave the wheels a quick soak in it as well. I sprayed some in the cap and just let them soak in it for a while. At the moment I've actually got the brushes just soaking in there to try and clean them up a bit. So I think of the wheels, I'll give them a quick go over with the old little rotary wire brush. Just give them a clean where they touch the track, and also where the contacts go on the back of them, so we get contact to the track. And I also gave the armature a spray with that stuff just to see what kind of effect it has, and it's come up remarkably clean, I'd have to say. But I will give it a final little clean and make sure the slots are cleaned out, and then I'll give the rest of these parts a little, maybe spray some of that stuff onto just a piece of rag and go round and give them all a wipe and a good clean. And then it'll be reassembly, put the whole thing back together. If it runs all well and good, then I'll clean up the rest of the, I'll clean up this bogie, which is I think this is riveted on by the look of it, so maybe I can pop the wheels out and just clean the contacts up to make sure it's got good contact from the back end as well, and we'll see how it goes. So right, let's give the wheels a quick clean. I might just start this and then stop it, because I'm sure nobody wants to watch me cleaning 4 separate wheels, and that's going to be a bit tedious for people, isn't it? But anyway, we'll start and see how it goes. Well, looking at that, you can see already the difference. 49 or 40 odd years of dirt and grime. So I'm going to carry on with those, give all those a good clean, and I'll be back to you in just a minute. Okay, wheels have come up pretty nice. I think you'll agree. Well, I hope you agree. What do I know? So they're pretty good. Hopefully that should give a lot better contact to the track than they were before. I also had a go at cleaning the contacts, these copper contact bars that sit on top of the motor. So these pick up from the wheels and transfer the power to the brushes. I used this little rotary brush on its very lowest setting, number 1 setting. And the good thing with this thing is, because it's not mains powered and it doesn't have a lot of power behind it, if it kind of catches on something for a split second, it stops straight away. So I don't think there's much chance of you damaging anything. So I've just gone over those very lightly and very gently and cleaned it all up where those points touch the wheels to make their contacts. I think the next thing, I'll probably use this same tool on this end when I do this end. But I'm going to get the front bogie back together first before I worry about this end. And I think I should be able to pop these wheels out and just clean them up again and clean those copper contacts up using this again on its very lowest setting. Just be very gentle with it, and it seems to do the trick. In the meantime, I'm going to get a squirt of cleaner on a piece of tissue paper and just clean up the rest of these components, clean up the slots in the commutator, and then after that it'll be reassembly. Okay folks, I'm going to spray some of this cleaner onto a piece of tissue and just go around and clean all these other little components individually, and also, you know, just to make sure there's no dirt on them, grease, anything else nasty that from 40 odd years of rubbish built up on them. So what I might do is I might just speed this section up, because I don't think anybody wants to sit and watch me just cleaning this. I'm pretty certain in the editor I know how to speed it up. So I'll be back with you in a minute. Right, okay folks, I'm going to go for reassembly now. It's actually now, I'm shooting this a couple of days later because something popped up at home. One of my neighbours needed a hand with something, and then it just all went south, as it does sometimes when you try to do projects. But anyway, I wouldn't ideally want to leave something like this all dismantled for a couple of days, but I had no choice. So now, let's see if we can put it back together and see if we can remember the order everything went in. Okay, so armature first. And it has these tiny little, you can see that little metal sleeves that I noticed that were on the ends here. Put those on first, one each end, like that. And then we'll slip him in there. Actually, we've got the bearing assemblies. I think I'll put those on as well. There we go. See that going on. Little bearing assemblies with the felt pads. They go on the ends as well. And it looks like they slot in here. Like that. And at the same time, get these metal pieces. I assume these are part of the magnet assembly. Around each side. Slot those in like that. It's a bit tricky. Bearing just fell off, never mind. I'll carry on. Okay, I can see what's happened here. The armature's not quite sitting in the right position. That's better. Okay. There we go. They're in now. You have to kind of get them and the armature all in at the same time. And one of the bearing caps from that end has fallen off, so we'll just try and get that back on. Okay, so they're in. Armature's in. There's a little metal sleeve that goes just behind the worm gear. Then the bearing cap with the felt pad, same both ends, like that. That's okay, they're in. Magnet. Slip that in like that. Okay, that's looking good so far. Not too bad. Then we've got the plastic bridge that sits over the top, and the brushes will go through those slots there. And then there's this little metal stud that sits inside, which obviously is the mounting for the top screw. Just going to try and line that up now if I can. Sorry about banging the another pair of pliers from the pound shop. Pliers, tweezers. They came as a little set, absolutely been Really handy they have. Good old pound shop. Right, that sits in there like that. And locates. And I think I'll hold it like that. Slip it over the top of the assembly. Okay, that looks good so far. I think. Yeah, brushes line up with there, the slots on the commutator. Okay, so then we'll pop the screw in. And the captive nut that sits inside that bridge piece. Screw just fell out, never mind. Let's get the nut in first. That's it. Okay, we'll get the nut in first. Hold it in. Pop the screw in. See if we can do it up. Don't know what's stuck to my screwdriver. It's not quite lining up. I need a bit of jiggling. Okay, so there's home. Don't know what's on that screwdriver. Let's get that off. What a mess. Okay, so far so good. Now, I did say that I didn't have any grease to put on these worm gears. I found this in the shed. I'd used this on the car once, I think, for the window regulator. High performance white lithium grease. I thought I'm not going to try and spray that onto those worm gears because it'll just go everywhere. So I've sprayed some into the top of a milk bottle carton. I'll get some on the old screwdriver, I think. Just pick some up and put a little daub on the worm gear. And it'll work its way around. I don't think it's going to need a lot somehow. Don't want to flood the thing with grease, but I thought a little bit of grease on the worm gear might not be a bad thing. And once that's all fully assembled, that'll just work its way around. Okay, let's give that a little wipe. Let's give that a wipe. Right. Okay, great. What's next? Can I remember the order I did everything in? Yes, we've got some clips that go over the bearing caps. These little clips that were quite difficult to get off, they sit over the bearing caps. They should now, in theory, just snap on. Ha ha ha. Yep. That's one. And there should be another one. I've managed to knock all this, of course, in my clumsiness. There we go. And two. This clip does not want to go down, but I'll try giving it a little squeeze. Ah, that's it, it's in. Don't know what was holding that, but it didn't want to quite go down. Never mind, seems to be down now. Right, let's get the oiler. And I think a bit of oil on the felt pads. Okay, let's put that back on there for a sec. That looks better. Right, next, I think we'll go up this way and reinsert the wheels. Okay, and a little bit of oil. Where the wheels are just running in the bogey there. Maybe a tiny bit on the gear, just so it can mix with that grease maybe. Then we've got our magnesium magnets. Slip them back in. Right, the other one. And then the plate. And 2 tiny little screws, and a tiny little Phillips screwdriver will be needed for that. I think I've got one here that'll do the job. Yeah. Okay, and 2 tiny screws. There's one here. One there. Okay, next was, I believe, that pad, and then this spring clip, which was to hold the brushes in place. Very important actually. I think I need to do this first. Take those off, I don't want them falling all over the place. The contact plates, need to get those back on. Which is not very easily with them still soldered on. I wish I'd desoldered these now, but never mind. I didn't, so I'll just have to carry on. They need to go behind the wheel. Get the contact behind the wheel. Lock it in. Same on this side. Okay, it's there. And then the other one. There's considerably more to these than there is on the ring-filled motor. A lot more parts. A lot more fiddly. And that contact has gone straight in the worm gear, look. And I say, you've got to watch it when you put it back together because they are so fiddly. But hey, I've never done one before, so it's one of those things. Once you've done a couple, you'll probably be okay. Famous last words. Right, that's in, that's in. Okay, all the contacts behind the wheels. Yeah, all the contacts are behind the wheels. The plate's back on. Then the insulator. And then the wire clip that holds the brushes in place, and another contact plate that sits there. Hope you can see that, folks. And then the screw which sits like that. Okay, so I'm hoping that's somewhere near right. It was so annoying having to leave the job for a couple of days, but it's just, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so brushes. Brushes, I've got a bit of wear on them, but I haven't got any spares, so I'm just going to go for reinstalling them for now to see if it runs. Which, I guess they have to come up from underneath like this. Yep. Okay. Okay. Maybe down first like that, then in. Don't think they'll go through that gap at the top. Or will they? Oh, they might do. Yeah, that might be easier. Let's have a look. Okay. Yeah, these brushes are quite tricky to do. They obviously need a bit of practice, I think. Try some different angled tweezers. Let's come out the other side. Our brush is going to be my nemesis. Aha! Okay. I think that's one on. Possibly. Yeah. Okay, got one in. That was a mission. I really wished I'd unsoldered the wires, because it would just be, with this in the way, it's just an absolute mare. But, you know, you live and learn. If I do it next time, I won't be lazy. I'll just unsolder the wires and crack on and get it done and solder the wires back on afterwards, because I've just made hard work for myself by leaving those wires on, I think. Let's try and get the other one in. Doesn't help that my eyesight's not great, to be honest. But we are where we are. There you go, that's the other one in. I think that was a bit better that time, don't you? Might be one of them things where, you know, once you've had a few goes, you might get better at it. But I always thought I'd make these videos just showing me having a go. If I make a fist of it, I make a fist of it, you know. I'm sure I can rectify it and get there in the end. Right, time for a deep breath, I think. Just nip up the screw on the top. Don't think that needs to be too tight, to be honest. Right, okay. So hopefully that's all back together. That contact's put around the wrong side of the wheel. Look, there you go. 4 contacts on the wheels. Everything's back in. Probably the next best thing to do is see if it works before I go ahead and try and assemble it fully. Just see if the motor runs. So I'll get the test track out and we'll just give it a little try. Hang on a second. Actually, it's just occurred to me that rather than getting the test track out, I could just give it the quick battery test. And fingers crossed. Yes. It runs. Oh, well, I'm so chuffed with that. After all those years, it's back in action. It lives. So let's get it back in the chassis and get the wheels cleaned up on the other end, the contacts cleaned up the other way, and then put the whole loco back together and get it on a test track and run it and see what it looks like. One job I have got to do is, remember I said they had the wobbly buffer, it fell off, so I've got to glue that back on. Just going to use a bit of industrial super glue. I'll glue that back on, get this all built up, get the wheels cleaned, and then we'll get it on the test track. Happy days. Right, just if we can pop the wires out of this other bogie. Wheels. And give them a clean. That's it. Okay, there we go. One end is a plastic wheel and the other end is a metal wheel, and so that just picks up power on the axle shaft by the look of it. So there's one. and there's t'other. Excellent. Right, they're out. So I'm going to give them a clean, same as the front wheels. I'll probably just clean the metal side up using the very low powered rotary tool. As for the fronts, the other end, the plastic ones, I'll just give them a little wipe over with some of the parts cleaner, just to get all any dirt off them. Pop them back in, give them a little oil on the spindles, and again just use the rotary tool just to very gently clean these two metal contacts up, and then pop the whole thing back together, and we'll get her on the test track. Okay folks, it's all back together. I gave the body just a clean in some soapy water, very gently. Don't want to ruin it, but let's see how it's looking on the test track. Well, just a brief bit of track on the bench. Yes, it lives. I can't tell you how delighted I am to see this running again, after I've forgotten it was up in the attic all those years. And that's another success, I think. We'll put that down as a winner. I can put it on the test track, maybe get some coaches behind it. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, folks, here she comes, all back together and on the track and running and pulling the intercity coaches, the two coaches that I remember that my sister got for me as a Christmas present when I was a lad, and also managed to pick up a buffet coach that I thought would look great with those other two. That was at a local train show, actually, a local train show we all went to, so that was good fun. And that was a bargain as well, but the Hymek looks great pulling these coaches, I think. It's running really well, really smoothly. After the motor stripped down, clean up, a little gentle clean of the body, everything back together and lubricated. Seems to be running great. I think now I've done one of those type of motors, I'd be okay about doing another one. It's like a lot of these things, isn't it? When you have a go, first time can be a bit daunting, but once you get stuck in, it's not that bad, and she's running really well, so I'm really pleased with that. I'd like to thank everybody who's watched so far, and particularly anybody who's subscribed. As of today, I've got 99 subscribers, so I'm hoping if I upload this video, somebody else might be interested, and this might get me my 100th subscriber. So thanks very much for that, everybody. Take care, keep watching, and I hope to see you again soon on Padshaw Junction. Bye for now.